Hey YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to this episode of Ask a Black Dad. Look who's with me. Went out to LA, had a good time, didn't think about me.
No, I didn't.
Left me at home all by myself.
Yes, I did.
But you guys didn't tune in just to hear me complain about her leaving me.
No.
Again. So we received this question, like, it's been, I ain't gonna say hundreds, but couple of teens in the 20s, 30s, we got like that. So it's like in the teens, so it didn't reach 100. We didn't get 100 of this question. So, but this question has been coming over and over and over again. So with that being said, well, why don't you read the question? We're going to jump into it and see if our perspective might can shed some light on this, which I think is a boo question.
Let me read the question. All right.
The question's not bull. The question's not bull.
The
controversy is.
Right. Any questions that we receive.
And don't forget, if we use your question on the show, you get a t-shirt, Ask a Black Dad t-shirt, and we're going to send that to, I forget his name offhand, but we'll go ahead.
You want me to read this?
You go ahead.
Can I go down?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go.
So this email comes from Mr. Southside Hottie. I want to start.
What's his name?
Southside Hottie. I'm sorry, Mr. Southside Hottie.
You got like a six-pack or something?
I don't know. He didn't send his picture.
Okay.
I'm just assuming he's a hottie.
Am I a hottie?
You know this.
I ain't from the South Side though.
That's okay. That's like you from Claire.
Cleveland don't really have South Side.
No, we have East Side, West Side. There is a South. Like Akron.
Nah, that ain't Cleveland. I'm from
the city. Independence.
Anyway, why are you playing around?
This is you.
Read question.
All right. I want to start by saying I love your cooking episodes and you guys should do more of them. I am wondering how you guys feel about the Disney's new Little Mermaid. I would like them to just leave it alone. I grew up with the original version. Am I wrong for feeling this way? P.S. Does women have a sister looking for a boyfriend? Unfortunately not. She just got married.
So you're going to answer that part of the question and not the main part of the question?
Well, we can get to that. This was the quick... No, I don't. But thank you.
All right. Listen. Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid.
Some people have lost their mind. But I'm 57?
57.
I'm 57 years old. You see, when you get old, you got to ask, how old am I? So... I'm 57, and this is not new when something is redone, and it's redone in a way that, first of all, let's break it down.
Okay.
Some of the racists, I'm not even talking about them. They're gonna react the way they react anyway. You know what I'm saying? They just do.
Regardless, it could be anything.
It could be anything. It could be, how come there's a black manager at the grocery store? They mad about that. You know, they took our jobs. So they like, I'm not worried about them.
Okay.
But we have a general sense that happens in the public when certain things happen. You know, I can remember when black quarterbacks, when people wouldn't hire black quarterbacks. I can remember that. They wouldn't, you can't be a black quarterback. You got to be a receiver. Then all of a sudden, the uproar when they got James Harris or Armin Gilliam when he was with Pittsburgh, people were in an uproar. And these were people who said they were not, racist, and but they had a problem. Black people can't be quarterbacks.
Racists usually don't say I'm a racist.
No, there are some that say they are. I'm saying, I remember we took them out. We took the ones that need to really look into themselves and say, why are you so upset? Why are you upset? Now it shouldn't be a big deal that a black quarterback or a black coach, but it still is. It kind of still is. People still get upset. I don't want my team to get a black coach. Why? You know what I'm saying? If they win, aren't you happy?
You would think that in their day and age that it wouldn't be. You got Mike Tomlin for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who else do we have as a black coach right now?
And Tampa Bay Bulls.
Yeah,
But
it's just like with anything
they need
else.
To work on that
It's just like anything else. There's not a lot of representation of black coaches, but there is an uptick of representation of black quarterbacks.
So let's get back to Little Mermaid. So Little Mermaid, they mad because they're going to do a live version. The first Little Mermaid came out, I think it was in, I wrote some of this down. Let me get this. I want to make sure I get it right. The original Mermaid came out in 1989. That's the cartoon. It's a cartoon for the people. It was a cartoon. In that cartoon, there were 45 credited cast members. That means there was 45 people in that movie who talked and said something and got a credit for that, whatever that motion picture where you get credit for it. Out of them 45, there was one black character who's a main character. That was Sebastian the crab.
In 1989?
Yeah, I guess it was a crab or lobster, whatever it was, Sebastian. Mr. Wright, Samuel Wright.
Samuel Wright was the actor?
Was the actor. Then there were 2 additional black voice actors, but I think they sung. James Ingram's brother, James Ingram, you know, his brother was in it, but he sung, and he was a background singer, and another guy who used to be staple singers. Now remember, there were 45 cast members in all. 2 of those cast members, they just sung in the background. You never know. Only one was black. Black people love that movie just the same.
Yes.
Hispanic people love that movie just the same. There was no big uproar or anything. So now we take it and we flip it on its head. The new one that's coming out that's live has 21 credited members that's going to be credited with.
It comes out May 2023.
All this whole cast has black, white, Asian.
I don't know, but this current cast right here, there's still not a lot of black representation except for the main character, which is the mermaid.
You know, they got the guy who played. I remember they got more than they got the guy who played Thomas Jefferson in Hamilton. He's in it.
Yeah, David.
Yeah, so they got something, but at least they tried. They mix it in. They didn't just come and they gave the lead character that. And people are losing their damn mind. And I understand. This guy says, what did he say? He said, I grew up with the old version, right?
Right.
I grew up with lead paint.
and asbestos.
and I liked it like that, you know. I don't want my kids to grow up with lead paint and asbestos.
Are you trying to think that the equivalent?
I'm just when people tell me I grew up with this, it was good and I liked it. You say, wait a minute. Are you saying that because you grew up in an era of, say, unequalness, or what was inequality. And you saying that because I had inequality or I was okay with inequality, everybody else should be with it now?
I think that people who say things like that, Varno, sometimes have limited thinking. And what they do, there are some people, and I'm not saying that Southside Hottie.
We like the Southside Hottie.
You know, is that sometimes
I'm gonna send you some lead paint.
They try to bottle those memories of their childhood or the way things were. How they want to not change that, but keeping in mind that was from your childhood. Now the fact of the matter is that we have other children who are coming up, and this will now be part of their childhood as well. And it does show the advancement of people. Southside Hottie.
It shows that. Listen, I remember, and me and woman both worked on Barack Obama's first election.
Yeah.
And before I got involved, I'm like, man, they ain't gonna let that man do nothing.
Yeah, you did say
I
that.
said, ain't no way. I was there, you know, but I can remember when Jesse was running, when Al Sharpton was running. I remember reading about the New York Shirley Chisholm was running. I remember Shirley Chisholm. I don't remember her.
I don't remember that.
But I remember Jesse and then I was like, what? Iowa went for Barack Obama. That changed. So people can change.
Historical, yes.
And then they kick you in the butt because then they go back, they kind of swing. That pendulum will swing back the other way, and it kind of did when we got the last, not the Biden election, but the one before that.
45.
Where people went ahead and they just went, I don't care who you voted for, but if you voted because we had a black one, so we got to get a white one.
Right.
You know, I had people tell me this, and this is the, I want Southside Hottie to honestly open up his heart and think, am I saying this because I saw Little Mermaid, and when I grew up, she was a cartoon character, first of all, and she was a white, she was white. And now, somehow, it's going to diminish this in my mind. Because I had people do that about the president. And you know, why would I get a black president? Because all of a sudden it would diminish. Somehow the presidency will get diminished, or no, it's not. Then they say, well, y'all only like it because he's black. I said, and y'all only voted for him because he's black. I said, no, I voted for a bunch of presidents that weren't black. Since I've been voting, I only had one president I can vote for that's black. Are you upset because your image of what you think something should be may be altered? Because somebody is going to give you a chance to expand. Open up your heart, open up your mind, open up your soul, and say, you know what? It's not that bad.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Good. You know, before you even seen it, you're ready to smash it.
But you know, you gotta keep in mind to it, and this is just offering another perspective, because that's what we do. We offer our own perspectives. Is you gotta think about something. Back in 1989, when The Little Mermaid came out, you had little redhead girls going, oh, basically representation. Somebody who has red hair like me, because some people think, oh, you know, and I don't know how long, I'm not gonna date myself, but you know, redhead, you know, freckles, things of that nature. No, not as nearly as old. 57 is not old, but I digress. Anyway, so there's representation. So now we have a Little Mermaid who happens to be black, Halle Bailey. Beautiful voice.
The whole time I thought it was Halle Bailey. I thought
he kept saying Halle Berry.
Halle Berry. I was like, wow, they made Halle Berry look young.
Halle Bailey.
Very, that's when you get old, you can't hear.
And she just so happened to be the best singer who auditioned for that, and that's how she got it. She has beautiful red, light strawberry dreads. Beautiful. Now you have little black and brown girls who also have representation in the live production. You got to keep in mind, along with change, along with time, there should be some advancement. I would say to you, sir, the thing about the fact of the matter is that, I'm sorry, Mr. Southside,
excuse me,
Southside Hottie, keep in mind that this right here is a depiction of advancement. You know, we've seen it over the years. We want to keep progressing that. So you still can go back and watch your VCR tapes.
Well, I'm sure you got
VCR tapes. I'm pretty sure we get that VCR, that VHS.
Oh, we still got the VHS tape downstairs.
Our
kids loved it. Our kids loved it. But here's something that I do want to share with Southside High. I remember James Bond, right? James Bond, 007. I'm not even gonna get on the fact that they want to make James Bond a woman, or they want to make a black man or a black woman James Bond. Okay, we ain't getting to that. I'm not gonna get into that. That's another. Somebody else send me some information. Send me a question that we'll answer and give you a free T-shirt. When James Bond came out, and during the 1970s, they had the black exploitation films. You know, Cleopatra, Shaft, Cotton Goes to Harlem, all that kind of stuff. James Bond, the people who made James Bond said, hey, we want to get in that too. So they had start putting in black characters in James Bond. When they first put him in, the first one they put in was a black lady. She was in there for like 2 minutes, and the villain turned her into a gorilla.
Was Eartha Kitt?
No, she was never born.
Oh.
Get this now. A black woman was in James Bond's movie, and some writers thought it would be a good idea for the villain to turn her into a gorilla. Then they had another lady who happened to be a martial artist, and she played one, and she lasted for like 30 minutes and she got killed off. You know what I'm saying? So that was black people in James Bond. And then in 1985, Grace Jones hit the cover. She was a villain, and they used, and nobody really got upset with Grace Jones being the villain. This black lady being the villain, and she was off the movie. Later on, she kind of like went a little bit and helped Bond out in the end of the movie, but no romance with Bond or nothing. But she was a villain. People kind of said, okay, they accepted Grace Jones' haircut being the villain. 1997, Michelle Yeoh from the Chinese movie star from the Asian movie star, but she's from China. From the movie Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, she became one of the lead Bond gays who get his interest. You know, because all lead females got Bond's interest, and Bond slept with them. it wasn't really that much of a cry. Remember, keep the big hardcore races out. Of course, they cry. No big cry. But then in 2002, they said, you know what? Who is the hottest female out here right now?
In 2000 when?
2002.
Okay.
And we could put in James Bond. It was Halle Berry. Y'all, people lost their damn mind. And
because she was gorgeous, right?
Because
she was gorgeous.
No, they lost their mind. How can you have James Bond, who is a whore, a whore, have a relation with Halle Berry? Halle Berry was so fine. I used to tell my kids.
That was.
Well, she is.
She is fine.
But I got older and I have to stop. But I used to tell my kids, that's your next mom. I didn't tell them that. I was going to Hollywood, find Halle Berry, she's going to be their mom. People lost their mind because Halle Berry, who was voted one of the most prettiest women in Hollywood, was a black, she was going to be the black lead.
She's a Bond girl.
For Bond girl. And they lost their mind. You're like, why would you lose your mind over that? And she did a good job. She did a good job in the movie. Remember, so we came from being turned to gorillas by the villain to having Halle Berry, and that was, the people just lost their mind.
People gonna lose their mind about anything.
But it's when they get that mob mentality level. I remember the little black girl. She's made the Cheerios
commercial.
People, the girl ate Cheerios and was loving her dad. Why is she got to be black? Because the father's white. That's her dad. Why people lost their mind?
Little biracial girl.
But American black.
I'm saying black girl.
So, but they lost their mind. You gotta stop. I remember when you lost your mind because Doug Williams was in the Super Bowl. I can go back and keep remembering. And I'm trying. Southside Hottie. I think that was true.
I would love to know the age of Southside.
Well, he said he grew up with Little Thing. It's a time when we have to understand that we want people to be represented. I have a friend of mine, and my kids were in school, elementary school, like his kids were. And he came to my house one day, and he was like, y'all got black Santa Clauses around your house? Yeah, why not? Santa Claus is not real. And
excuse you.
And I wanted my kids to know that Santa Claus ain't real. If your kids is watching this, that's on you. Santa Claus ain't real.
Make sure you tell them, spoiler alert.
You are Santa Claus. And I wanted my kids to just have a feeling of belonging. You know what I'm saying?
Because in our house, Santa Claus is black.
Yeah. Santa Claus black. See,
why would he not be black?
I had people come to my door one time and they said, when we first moved to the suburb, and they were like, would your kids like to go to church? Mm-hmm. And I said, I have no problem sending my kids to your church, but can you show me some of your pamphlets? And they had all these pamphlets, and everybody in the Bible was white. Everybody.
In their pamphlet.
In their pamphlet. And all the kids that was talking to Jesus were white in their pamphlet.
In their pamphlet.
I said, can you show me something? I said, you ain't got to show me a pamphlet with Jesus or anybody else being black. Can you show them where they're Asian? Can you show me where they're Hispanic? He said, I don't understand. We don't have that. So you want me to send my little black boys and girls to your church where they're going to be sitting around with a bunch of kids. And every Sunday they go there, no matter what they look at or the subject they talk about, all they're going to see is somebody who doesn't look like them. Or there's no unity where they're represented in that.
Right, and I think that's the beauty of having these types of conversations, because you challenge a person's thought perception. Because if you aren't challenged, when I say challenge, I don't mean like aggressively challenge, but you challenge, right? I'm not talking about
AR-15.
Right, but what I'm saying is you challenge to think outside of the norm, your own personal norm. I'm pretty sure the gentleman that you talked to did not think about that, right? because everybody in the church looked like him. Yep. When he opened up his pamphlet, it looked like him. So the simple fact of the matter is that didn't make him think otherwise until you challenge him to think otherwise. Like, wow, it doesn't have any representation. So what kind of message is this given? So
I ain't got to be. We're not. Nobody's saying be the star. We always got to be the star of the show. But can't I be in the picture? Can't I be can't somebody like me be, you know, especially with our children, they need to see that they are accepted. For so long in America, we did this. And it wasn't that long ago. People keep acting like 1965 or 66 and on was so long. It wasn't. I was born in 65 and they didn't get that done in 66. So remember, 57 years. That's all you're talking. 57 years.
And then think about it too. Where was the outrage when you had Elizabeth Taylor playing Cleopatra? You know,
John Wayne was fighting Indians who weren't Indian. They weren't Indian.
And then unfortunately, we watched this show. I had to enjoy it, The Rifleman.
I love The Rifleman too.
And I'm sorry. But it's the reason why I watch it. You know, you look at that and you go, oh my gosh. Now, you know,
some of the stuff they say now.
The stuff they said, the things that they did. I'm like, wow. And, you know, so when you had the American Indians, and they were none of them were American Indians. They were all white men, basically dressed and painted
up.
Right. So
and, you know, and look at the mermaid. Let's get back to the mermaid. There is no.
It's all about representation.
Who found the mermaid? Somebody show me where you're gonna find the representation of mermaids. If you go to the continent of Africa, they talk about mermaids. If you go to the continent of Asia, they talk about mermaids. If you go to the continent of Europe, they talk about mermaids. Hell, they even talk about mermaids in North America. In fact, Christopher Columbus mentioned that he saw a mermaid when he was in Dominican Republic.
Dude was back in history. He said Christopher Columbus.
Let me tell you what he saw. He saw a manatee. Who the hell want to say, that's me? You look at a manatee, a sea cow, that is not a pretty thing. And that's what they thought.
Oh,
so
that was a mermaid?
he thought that's what he called a mermaid.
I remember it's real.
No,
I'm only asking. I'm just making a
and
point.
if they are real, there should be some black ones and some white ones
point.
probably.
But I know that and I can't remember what cartoon or whatever it was, but I believe it was by Disney, to whereas they did have different representation of mermaids of ethnic background. But I would still say, you know, Southside Hottie. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to embrace your memories of Little Mermaid, and because you got your VHS tapes, you got your DVDs. I'm pretty sure you could even stream it, you know, in regards to that. But it's okay. What I'm saying is that embrace what it is now, and embrace the fact that there's representation and an advancement in some areas. And I will tell you, as a black woman, it's not as progressive as we would like for it to be, but it is progress.
Remember, they can't take away your memories.
No.
Your memories can't be taken away by this movie.
I like Little Mermaid.
This movie is not going to take away your memories, not take away your Nickelodeon, your Disney, you know, whatever it is. Don't get mad because when I come to your house to paint and you have kids, or if you have kids, I'm not going to use lead paint. Because you grew up with lead paint.
You back on the lead paint.
I'm going to use that paint that if your kid decides to eat it, he won't get lead poisoning. Don't get mad because when I do your garage door in your house, I'm gonna have a sensor that if a little kid starts to go under the door, it stops the door right then and there and will cause it to go right back up instead of just smashing and crushing your kid.
That saved my life.
Don't get mad at me because when you throw your refrigerator out, it doesn't have a latch that if a kid crawls in it, he can't open it and he's stuck. Now they're just magnets and the kid just pops them open. So change is good. Don't worry about what happened to me needs to happen. No, it doesn't. It reminds me of what's happening. Just because I had to pay all of my student loans and be in debt and struggle my butt off, that means they need to do it too. Just because I had to walk in 15 feet of snow, why the hell do they need a bus?
Oh no.
Don't be that person who says, get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
But I'm saying don't be that. I'm saying don't be that. Don't be that.
I'm going to say, if you're going to lose your mind about anything with the Little Mermaid, lose your mind that Halle Bailey is a beautiful singer. Lose your mind in regards to that. Is that enjoy that. Take a look again at, what is it called? A sneak peek or the trailer that they put out.
Lose your mind in the fact that I thought it was Halle Berry. I thought it was Halle Berry. I was like, wow, how did they make her look like
just
that?
as beautiful, if not as more.
So with that being said, hey, you get a T-shirt from us. It's free. We'll reach out to you and send it to you.
I'll send it to you.
And we didn't jump on you, so I don't want you to think that we did. Embrace your memories, your childhood, but be accepting of those that are coming up behind you. You understand what I'm saying? There are people coming up behind you that are raising kids. I don't know if you have kids. You understand? If they're raising kids or they're kids themselves, let them feel welcome, loved. Let them have that kind of the same warmth that you felt when you saw Little Mermaid. I don't know if you felt warmth or whatever. The same way you felt, let them feel it. Yeah. Don't be that person who's out there, get off my lawn to them. Let them enjoy it.
If you want a sample of that, look at those reactions. Go on TikTok or YouTube, whatever, look at the reactions of those little black and brown girls as they saw someone who represented them, you know, as the Little Mermaid.
Or look at the ones that are older people of color who like, wow, you know, they're seeing, when we see something for the first time that's happening, we see change. When you can see change. The one wonderful thing about America is when you get a chance to see change. You know what I'm saying? People have come and gone in America who look like me and never got to see change. One of the things I've always said, I regret that my father never got to see Barack Obama win that presidency. That was something that would have touched him. Yeah. That was something, but he wasn't the only one that he came, he was here, and they left the way, sometimes feeling a little left out or hurt. And he saw certain things change, but allow things to change. Don't be that person that's in the middle of the road stopping it. You know, don't be that person, they're taking our job. No, they're not. Don't stop it. You know what I'm saying? We said America has a creed. Let's make her live up to the creed. We're all one. We're on this little tiny rock together. I promise you, if some blue people start coming out the sky and was trying to take out all the people on Earth, we finally get together and try to defend them. So let's take up for each other. Let's look out for each other. And let's love each other.
And see what Little Mermaid, look what type of conversation this sparked. So everything happens for a reason. Sometimes it's not just about the Little Mermaid, it's about the bigger picture of it all.
Yeah, big picture. You ain't gotta watch it. If you don't want to see it, don't go see it. Yeah. If you don't want to see it, but don't be that person standing there at the door saying, no, you can't see it. I don't want nobody to see it. Let's evolve. You know, we'll get there. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time people was talking about they weren't gonna use 5G. Everybody using 5G now. 5G. You know, cell phones. Oh, they cell phones is microwaves. You know, don't be the person who wants to ride the horse again. I don't want to go back to horses.
Don't say horses. Don't.
She fell off. But
that's a whole other
that's what she get for going to LA without me.
I'm a horseback ride.
And she fell off. But that's here and there. Send us your questions. Subscribe. Follow us on all the social media platforms. And remember, open your heart. You can learn a lot if you do it. Trust me. Be willing to listen to someone's point of view as long as they're not trying to hurt somebody. Listen to somebody's point of view. Understand where they're coming from. And then give them your point of view. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully you can articulate your point of view. I hope we did a good job that will help anybody else who wants to protest this. Remember, if you want to protest the new Little Mermaid, I got some lead paint for you.
Some lead paint, Varno.
With that being said, until we see you again,
we love you.
You said remember.
Oh, sorry.
It's too late. It's too late. She got California in the California in the
because you know this time last year.
Last week. The show's over.
The
show's over. Good night.
I was in a hot tub, and it was like 90-something degree weather.
No, we're done.